another episode of Life Changers, and this is Mike. Today, I'd like to talk about living your best life. Because, just give me one sec. Sorry about that. But everybody says, like, oh, Mike, you must be so lucky. You're able to travel, and you're able to do this, you're able to do that. Well, for the last 3 years, I wasn't able to travel at all, if people think I'm lucky, because I was working. My business was taking off crazy. I have to drive a lot of the trucks up to the Arctic and stuff like that. But I don't think luck has anything to do with it. It's, so put it this way. Story time. Okay, I'm just letting you guys know right now I'm recording on offsite. I'm not in studio. I'm actually at Daytona Beach, Florida. Just looking at the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean right now, just outside my window. I'm in my hotel. But yeah, so people are like, oh, hey, Mike, you're leaving to go to Florida. You're so lucky and all that. You know what? It was literally like, we were like, let's go to Florida in a week. And I went and delivered a bunch of equipment, a bunch of stuff. And then when we came home and we're like, okay, let's go. But let's give you a little story time about this. We sold our house in 2018. And we're like, okay. Because we went to Florida for a vacation for a couple, 2-3 weeks in 2018. And we're like, wow. It just resonates with me. I feel pulled towards here. Is it the universe trying to pull me in, saying, hey, Mike, you got to go live here now or go do this? But we just felt pulled. So we're like, you know what we should do? My wife's like, let's just sell our house. So we put our house for listing and sold it. And we bought a trailer. Well, we already had a trailer, but then we bought another trailer in a trailer park. So we're like, hey, we could live 6 months here and then 6 months in Florida and then just live our best life, right? And we're like, that's awesome. And so in 2019, so we started living in the trailer park. It was a really nice trailer park. It's really nice. We still have 2 trailers there. We're selling one, but I digress. And then we came to Florida in 2019. We're like, yeah, let's do 6 months. And then we all know what happened in 2020. And then we went back May 2020 to Canada, and we've been there ever since. And my business has gone crazy. And you heard me talking other stories and in other episodes as well about the business and how I couldn't predict anything and how amazing it was. It's recession proof and it's amazing. So anyways, and then we're like, well, I guess we're not going to Florida as often as we wanted because we got to be here. This company is just going crazy. Now we have 2 warehouses and we got trucks going up, delivering all the time. So I need to be there to do stuff like that. And so we're trying to find management and all that, but I feel like we're not really putting it out in the universe that we need management yet, that we keep on going, well, we'll wait, we'll work a little bit and we'll set up everything and we'll get everything running smoothly because we're setting up full automation on the websites and stuff like that so that there'll be less work for the employees in the warehouse. And then we're looking for full managers. But now we fast forward to 2023 and we're like, we need to go to Florida. We're burning out. So we're just going to go. And we just put in the universe that we want to go in a week. And then we had nobody to take over the warehouse for us. And then we have 2 amazing friends that are like, we'll help you. They don't need to work. One of them's retired. And another one's she doesn't need to work. But they're like, yeah, we'll help you. And they're like, we'll do it to help you because you guys need a break. You guys have been really buckling down for the last 3 years hard and working 24/7 because that's what it's like. People are like, oh, you own your own company, you don't really work. No, we work hard 24/7. It's constantly there because if we're not working, if things aren't doing what it's supposed to do, we're not making money, right? It's if I don't have what I call a real job, then if I don't show up or if employees don't show up or something happens, well, I don't make money if we're not getting contracts, if we're not moving products, right, or doing what we're supposed to be doing. But so now we just put it in the universe. We're like, yeah, we're going to do this. We need a break. And then our amazing friends stepped up. So now we trained them. I took off and did a truckload, got back after 5 days. And then we're like, let's drive to Florida. So I got in the truck and drove to Florida. And here I am. And we're going to be down here for a bit. But I was just sitting at the beach. So we're just in there all day yesterday. I do recommend, especially if you're from Canada and you come here in the winter where we don't get much sun and we're all covered up in the winter, that when you come to Florida, wear sunscreen for a bit until your skin gets used to the sun. Because like my arms and legs and my face, I'm a lobster. I was wearing a shirt because, it's pretty cold still, the water. I went in, but it's still pretty cold because we are in March. So yeah, the water's not the hottest right now. It gets hotter in the summer. These beaches are packed in the summer from what I understand. But anyways, I just suggest wear that. But anyways, that's why I'm sitting at the beach, hanging out with my family. And my time flew by. We were out there for like 4 or 5 hours. So that's why I got burnt. And now they're at the beach and I'm not. But it gives me time to record an episode for Life Changers. But I'm at the beach. And at first I was looking at this person off in the distance. It looks like she was like dancing and she was screaming every now and again, going, whoa, whoa. And I was like, what's going on? And my first reaction was like, what? That's weirdo. Like, what did you do? And I thought maybe she was filming TikToks and taking pictures for Instagram and all that. But no, she was actually has her headphones on. She was looking at her phone to change the music, and she's just dancing. And I'm like, not even joking. It was an older lady. She was out there like off in the distance, screaming and dancing and partying like she's at a club for like 3 hours while she's running around in the ocean, like putting her feet in, dancing around and everything. And I was looking at my wife. I'm like, oh man, I thought she was doing TikToks at first. And I'm like, people are traveling the world, just filming TikToks, not actually enjoying the moment, just taking the moment for video, and then they move on to the next moment, right? And I was like, wow, she's really just like living her best moment. My wife looks at me, and I'm just sitting in the sand, start like digging holes, and I'm making sandcastles with the kids. She's like, yes, and you're living your best moment too. I'm like, yeah, right? We choose, like people say like, oh, like you're so lucky you're able to go to Florida. You're so lucky you're able to do this. You're so lucky that you go to the casino and you do this and that and this, and everybody's just like, you're luck. I'm telling you now, luck has absolutely nothing to do with it. It's just we decided, and you know the difference. I'm telling you now, the difference from when you're deciding of like, oh yeah, one day we'll go to Florida, or, yeah, I'm going to go to Florida, law of attraction, I'm going to Florida. But you can feel it in your heart when you're really putting it out in the universe and you're really like putting your intentions there, so that like, you're like, no, I'm truly going to do this. And you just do it. It doesn't cost like much more money than living day-to-day life in Canada out here. Yeah, the exchange rate sucks right now. So everything's a little bit like almost 40% more right now in the US for us. So every dollar American is $1.40 Canadian. Fun fact. But I digress. But like, it's just like, like just do it. If you want to go, don't be like, oh, one day we'll go, one day. Just do it. Just put the intentions in the universe and it will work out, happen. Because literally a week before this, we had nobody ready to work our warehouse. And now we have our awesome friends willing to step up and help us with the warehouse and help us with our projects so that we can take off on vacation. Like, I'm really grateful for amazing people like that in the world. Like, you should surround yourselves with amazing people. It's weird for us. Like, my wife and I were talking, like, it's weird. Like, we don't know how to react because our whole lives, it seems like, there's give and take in a friendship, right? When that's the way we always thought, like, okay, you help me, I help you, you help me, I help you. And it's kind of expected, right? But like with our amazing friends we've been attracting lately, they're willing to help us. They call us and they're like, hey, like we had some friends in the States. They're like, hey, we're in the US right now. We're coming to Canada. Did you want anything? Because it's cheaper here. And I'm like, yes. And there's no, like, I expect you to do the same for me. It's just like they're doing it out of love and compassion. They're just amazing people. It's weird to meet other people. Like, we've always attracted people that we felt like needed our help, right? Oh, we're attracting all these people that need our help. We're going to help them. We're going to help them. But without even realizing that we were attracting people that had the same issues as we were and that were needy, I guess. I don't know. Like, we're just attracting what we didn't want to attract. Like, we were attracting a lot of negativity, a lot of negative people, a lot of people that were like, oh yeah, I'll help you. But then there's always that, and you just feel it, right? There's that underlying, like, but you owe me. That's not a real friendship. And I realize that now, like, because now we're attracting amazing people. It's weird to attract people that are like you, like me, that like I willingly want to help people and just help them, just to help them. There's no strings attached. You'd be surprised how many times. So like the other day, I was taking the bus, like a public transportation bus, from like one, I guess like they call it like a go bus or a ghost bus or something. So from like one city to another city, like it's a 2 hour bus ride. And it stops a few cities, and it's not like a city bus that stays in the city. It goes from different cities. It's pretty cool, like a ghost bus or something in Toronto. And I was on the bus, and I'm like, hey, where are you guys going? And I was just like, paying for everybody's bus ride. It was like $20 to go for the full 2 hours, end of the line. And then there's like $5 and $10, $15. So I was just paying for people. And people that had already paid, I gave them money back. And you'd be surprised how many people were looking at me like, okay, what's the catch? I'm like, there's no catch. I just want to help people. I just want to do good, And at the same time, I'm like, check out Life Changers. I'm handing out cards, right? But, just wanted to do good. So I felt like doing good that day. Like, it's not like there's 100 people or 30 people on the bus. There's only like 10 people. And I just paid for everybody that was there. And as people came on, and it's like not that busy of a bus run. And then I just started paying for people. And people were just so like, why? Why would you do this? Like, what's wrong with you, man? And one guy's like, oh, you must be rich to be able to do this. And I'm thinking like, no, anybody could change somebody's life. Like, it literally only costed me like maybe $120 to pay for everybody's bus ride that day. And some people are like, well, that's a lot of money, Mike. It's only a lot of money if you like want it to be. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like money to me. I stopped chasing it. And I really feel it now. Like, no, I talk about it in my episodes, but I really know, like, I stopped chasing money. I stopped chasing it. And now money is just flowing to me. And, like, I make a joke the other day. Like, I'm just like, it's like I put money in my pocket, like, have some cash. Oh, cash is almost taboo in this world now. But anyways, I would take some cash out of the bank, and I'm like, oh, what's this for? I'm like, I'm going on vacation. And I only took out a certain amount. And I swear, it's just like I'm spending the cash, but it's as if there's always more cash there. I'm like, man, all the money in my pocket's just humping, just making more money. I'm just, it's a joke. I'm joking around and all that, but it just feels like, in my heart, I know in my soul, like, you stop chasing money, money will just flow to you and things. Like, I'm not even joking. On the way down from Canada, driving through the U.S., we came through Michigan and all that. And we come down the I-75 all the way down to Florida. It's a good ride. I tell you, if you come to Florida, do that. But no, like, we're coming down the I-75 and we stopped like at gas stations and stuff like that. And we were walking in and it was getting late and we're hungry. And we're like, well, we'll get a snack for everybody, in the car. And we walk in and I went to prepay for the gas. And the lady's like, you want free pizza? Like, she had slices of pizza. She's like, I got to throw these all away. But if you want it, you can take one or two or three, whatever your heart desires. I'm like, actually, I'm going to go tell my wife and kids. And they're going to come in. And she's like, yeah, and like, hurry up. Like, I'm giving the pizza away because if not, we got to throw it away. I'm like, you're awesome. I'm like, you're awesome. Like, just, yeah, see, right there. Those slices of pizza were probably like $3-4 US, so like $5-10 Canadian. But like, we just saved probably like $30-40. And it was awesome. Like, and my wife's like, for this trip, we should try to make things free. So like every night at the hotel, we found a hotel where I can use points. I have like points because I'm like part of reward, all those reward cards, right? So I have all these points. So I'm like, yeah. So we found hotels that were free. So we stayed at like Holiday Inns, Express, and Suites and stuff. And it was all free because I had enough points. Free breakfast in the morning, boom. Like just put it out there that you want stuff and you'll get stuff. Like, it's weird. Like, we're just like, yeah, whatever. Like, meh. I know. Maybe sometimes I sound like a pompous going, oh, I don't care about money. Money is easy to make, right? I used to think so much how hard it was to make money. How I would be there like, it's so hard to make money. I don't know how I'm going to make money. I'm dreaming about, one day I'll have all this money. One day. No, I decide to live my best life now. You got to live your best life now. Live what you want to do now. I see that there's a major trend worldwide. Like, I see it on like YouTube and Facebook, TikTok, and everything. How people are like, yeah, we're living our best life. There's the van lives going on where people are traveling the U.S., living in vans, and they're living their best life. It's amazing. Like, I'm truly just putting it out in the universe and trying to live my best life. And yes, I'm not perfect. I'm learning. That's why I have this podcast, is I'm telling you my falls and the do's and don'ts, I guess, of law of attraction. Like, I still find myself a lot complaining to the universe, like, oh, or to my higher self or to God, whatever, right? I don't care what you want to call it. Whatever works for you works for you. And I'm just there complaining, like, oh, well, I need to make all this money because I want to do so much good in the world. I want to give money away. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I know, if I stop complaining like that, and if I actually just like surrender and just like whatever, because like I was complaining, talking to my wife. I'm like, hey, I'm spending money putting life changers out there. Right? I got buying equipment. Now I'm traveling, so I have equipment. So I have a portable studio, and we have the studio back home in the warehouse. And like I'm buying more equipment for it, and I'm just growing it. But like, I'm not making money doing the podcast, right? I'm not monetized yet. But I want to keep it free, and I want to make it free. So, like if I'm going to promote products or promote things, I got to believe in it. And if people want to pay me, that's awesome. Because there's different ways I could monetize. So I was telling my wife, like, oh, I want to really make life changers make money. And, then our shipping company can just do its own thing, and I'll hire managers, and we'll make a little bit of money there. It'll grow and so on. But then I'll just travel doing life changers and interviewing people and doing stuff. But we just got to find ways to monetize, right? And she's just like, no, just surrender. She goes, listen to your podcast. Like, it's funny because we know how to live our best life. We know what we need to do in order to achieve our goals. We know how to attract and use law of attraction. We know all this amazing stuff. But sometimes it's hard to put it into practice sometimes. And like sometimes you lose track or you get back to your old self. So like truly live your best life now. Like I'm sitting here in a hotel room looking at the Atlantic Ocean, and it's beautiful. And I was in the Atlantic Ocean yesterday and I got burned. Wear sunscreen. But yeah, like it's fun. We're traveling, having fun. Like join our trip. Just hanging out with the family, because we're always like, I'm always like trying to like concern, like, oh, we got to plan this, do this, right? I want to make memories for the kids, You know what makes memories for the kids? It's just hanging out with the kids, just being present instead of planning and doing things, just being present with them. Like being at the beach, they were so happy. Like we stopped in Cincinnati. We went to the Cincinnati Zoo. And, one of my daughters really likes hippos. She has a hippo named Steve. He has TikToks, okay? It's called Steve the Hippo on TikTok. It's hilarious. But anyways, so we went to the zoo to see Fiona. And they're like, yeah, it's a 50-50 shot that they'll be out. Because, like, it's cold, so they might not want to be out. But the water's heated, so maybe they'll be outside because they got an indoor enclosure, outdoor. But we're only allowed to see them on the outdoor. Anyway, so my daughter's like, we bought tickets, and she was so happy. Like, we get to see Fiona. We showed her the video. She's like, yeah, I watched that on YouTube with Dad a while ago. Yeah, we're going to go see her. Hopefully she's outside. And my daughter's like, oh, she will be. I know she will be because I'm coming to see her. And law of attraction, right? Boom. We were there. It wasn't packed. It wasn't busy because it was like cloudy, cool, looked like it was going to rain. And to see my daughter's face, and even mine, we're all just lit up seeing these hippos just swimming around. And then he saw Fiona, and we're laughing and giggling. Hippo was pooing in the water. And we're like, ah! And fun fact about hippos, okay, sometimes when they're pooing on land, their tail like goes like a helicopter, just shoots back and forth like it looks like helicopter poop. That's what my daughter calls it, like helicopter poop. And my daughter's like, I want to see them helicopter poo. I'm like, well, put it in the universe and you will. And she's like, okay, I will. Then she's 10 years old. And we look over after we talked for 5 minutes, and we're looking, and then we're like, let's just enjoy it. And she's like, well, before we go, I'm going to see them helicopter poo soon. So we're watching. And then sure enough, a hippo was in the water. He put his butt out of the water and started helicopter pooing everywhere. And everybody's cheering and screaming. My daughter was like freaking out, like, yes, this is amazing. I'm laughing so hard because just poo flying everywhere. It was a great time. Like, we're just literally having fun. Just enjoy. Stop planning. Like, you can plan like trips and adventures and look for different things. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, right? Save money. And like, my wife found tickets, so it's like $22 a person to go there. But my wife found tickets for like $9 or $8 US a person. So we paid like less than half price. Then we bought them all stuffies. My daughter bought Fiona Hippo stuffy, and we all got them stuff, and boom, like we just whatever. My wife always seems to find amazing deals. And yes, some of you guys are right now telling me, hey, you're in Florida. You want good deals. All you got to do is listen to those timeshare presentations, which is true. If you do timeshare presentations, you get free stuff. Like we're listening to one, and it's like 90 minutes, and you could time it, take your 90 minutes, say no to everything, and that 90 minutes be like, boom, 90 minutes is up. Give me the free crap. So we're getting like a week free stay somewhere and stuff like that. So, hey, if that's your thing, if you're strong and say no, don't say yes to buying timeshares if you don't want to. Then just say no. But if you do want to buy a timeshare, never take the first offer. Take the third. The third offer is the cheapest, and you still get the same thing, and it's like half the price. Just a fun fact for you, because I listen to a lot of those presentations to get free stuff. You got to do what you got to do, right? And it's fun. I just got to say no. Some of them are really aggressive, but I digress. But yeah, like we were just having an amazing time at the zoo and just living life, enjoying life. Like a lot of times, like you notice if you have kids, your kids will be like, oh yeah, we did this. Now let's go to the next thing. Now let's go to the next. Let's do it. Right? It's like, calm down, relax. Just look how amazing this world is. Look where we are. We're traveling. We're in the U.S., which is fun because you guys got a lot of amazing different flavors, chocolate bars and Oreos and all sorts of stuff and whatnot. But yeah, so while we're just chilling at this resort, just hanging out, they're at the beach right now making sandcastles. We bought them little boogie boards, so they're going to run around and boogie board it since it's high tide still. But yeah, just stop thinking everything's out of reach. You know how many of our friends are like, oh, that's so out of reach. One day we'll be able to go to Florida and do it. If you just actually put it in the universe, like we're going to do it, we're going to find the money to do it, and everything will happen properly. I look back at my life and realize like every time I just surrender and give up and stop controlling, how amazing life is, and everything I want just comes, and everything I dream of just comes. Like, just it's amazing. I can't reiterate it enough. Like, yeah, like while I'm out in Florida, I'm gonna try to find people to interview that just change their lives. Like, there's a lot of amazing people that I talk to, and I say, hey, I'm doing a podcast. Do you want to be interviewed? I could interview you in like one of the conference rooms or something, right? I have a portable thing, and a lot of people are shy. They're like, nah. I'm like, you don't have to use your real name if you don't want to. We call you Bob. But yeah, like how people just decide, like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just surrender and enjoy life. So I was actually talking to somebody, an active member of the community of Life Changers who's listening to the podcast regularly. And he reached out and we're talking. And he's just asking me some questions and advice. And I give him a call and we're talking. And, I give him some advice and told him like things I've learned, how, I used to think like, oh, I'm going to create that. But how it makes more sense to me. If it makes sense to you to create, do it. But what makes more sense to me, and I told him like this, what makes more sense to me is I don't try to create in a sense. I step into the realities that have what I want. So I stepped into the reality of me coming to Florida. And that's it. Instead of me being stressed, saying, oh, we can't leave right now because of business, right? And stuff like that. And yeah, I'll talk. This is awesome. I'll tell you this story, then I'll tell you another one. Like, it's amazing. And he's like, yeah, he's telling me how, like, yeah, I started like creating using the law of attraction. So he had like an amazing job, really good job. And then I guess in the winter you get laid off. And in the winter, he still was making the same amount, if not more money, just by doing different things like Uber Eats or DoorDash, stuff like that. As well as he's like, I just realized like I can do, people are asking me to do gigs all the time. Like when I deliver their food, they're like, hey, by the way, like, do you do other services like, pick up equipment here, drop it to this buddy's house or stuff like that. Because, he needs stuff moved around, or and he's like, my brother needs stuff here and I need to give him, and, just this guy was starting a little business and needs to move product around between different locations in the city. And yeah, the guest, wow, the guy that I was talking to on the phone, that who listened to Life Changers was like, yeah. And he started his own business. of like custom picking up, delivering, and stuff like that. Like, delivery service that you see in a lot of major cities. And he doesn't live in a major city, so it hasn't really reached there yet. Like, the only thing is like DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that. And now he's making more money, working less, making more than he was working like his 60-hour a week summer job. And he's like, it's amazing. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just creating and I just take your advice. And that just warms my heart. Like, how amazing people are that like listen and they like, yeah, this resonates with me and let's try it. At first he was like, I'm hesitant. I thought you were a whack job. But in actually listening and doing it, like, you're just a normal dude. And yeah, it works for me. Right. And like, as I'm traveling, I'm handing out cards to a lot of people. And I was in the state of Georgia, and this girl's like, so what'd she say? She goes, yeah, you dropping diamonds? I'm looking around like, do I have diamonds on me? Am I dropping diamonds? Like, I'm like, anything's possible in this world. Maybe there's diamonds falling off me. I don't know. And she's like, you don't know what that means? I'm like, no, I'm from Canada. She goes, it means like you're dropping gold. You're spitting like good truth, like truth, right? I'm like, yeah, my podcast is about me telling truth and things that work for me. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm dropping diamonds. And then she's like, yeah, like, cool, I'm going to take a listen to it. And I just hand my card to people that I feel like are awesome people and enjoying it. And yeah, like, there's another thing when we were traveling. I seen people make YouTube shorts on YouTube talking about this Buc-ee's. It's like a gas station. It looks like a mini Walmart almost. Has everything in there. So I'm like, hey, I see these Buc-ee's. So we stopped there, and fuel's cheap. So if you're traveling to the U.S., you see a Buc-ee, fuel's cheap there. It was like 10 cents cheaper than everywhere else, especially for diesel. I drive a diesel pickup truck. But anyways, and I'm like, kids, let's go to Buc-ee's, and made it exciting and fun. And like, yeah, everything was Buc-ee's in there. I'm like, we're a Buc-ee family now. I'm like, we need the Buc-ee towels, we need the shirts, we need the swimsuits. Let's do it. And like, we had fun. But then after the third Buc-ee's, we went to my kids like, we're done with Buc-ee's. I'm like, oh, I like the Buc-ee's. It was so fun. But anyways, just trying to live in the moment and enjoy every time. Like, when you're traveling, you're like, oh, can't wait to get to the destination. Then you get to the destination and you're like, I can't wait to get to the next destination. Or I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do that. Just stop, relax, enjoy life, enjoy what you are creating, enjoy the fruits of your labor, enjoy your vacation, or enjoy just being amazing and living life and then just having a great time and living your best life. Like, dance like nobody's watching. Just, yeah. Why are we always like, I can't wait for the next thing, can't wait for the next thing, can't wait for the next thing, or I need to flex, or I need to, like, this guy has more than me, Hey, yeah, Mike, he's traveling to Florida and doing all sorts of stuff, and he has more than me. Like, I want to compete. No, you're not competing with nobody. Everybody can have everything they want. I know it sounds crazy, but it's truth. It's truth, man. I'm dropping diamonds. It is true. You can literally sabotage yourself, or you can create amazing adventures and just live your best life. And don't live your best life because you want to, be a TikTok star, YouTube star. Like, just enjoy life. And if you happen to film some cool stuff along the way and we want to post it. Like, you do you. If you want to make a podcast talking about your trips. Who knows? Like, just surrender. Do what feels right. Do what is pulling you to do. And it's like, you just can't go wrong. There's another thing. I was reading a new book called The Courage to Be Disliked. It's on Audible. And it's pretty much like the book is, it's weird how it's narrated or how it's written, I guess. I listen to it on Audible while I travel. But it's weird how it's edited or written, I guess, because he talks like as if he's talking to a student. So it's like a professor talking, a philosophy professor talking to a student, and they keep on having conversation. That's how it's written. But what he's talking about is gold. Like, it's pretty much law of attraction. How this guy's like, so you're saying if I say, yeah, I want to go to this party with somebody, but I really don't want to, and then I'm going to find ways to make excuses so I don't. Or you're saying like I choose to be like at home depressed and stuff like that, because subconsciously I don't want to have to go out and see people because that gives me anxiety or whatever, right? And going on and on. It's an amazing book. And then it's like, yeah, that, and like, I encourage you to read this book if you're new to like law of attraction, new to like what are the things I'm talking about. Like, it explains it very well, but it's like, mwah. It's a good book. I'm on chapter like 30 right now. I didn't finish it, but yeah, like, it's pretty much in the nutshell explaining how, like, yeah, everything that happens to you, you subconsciously create that. I want that to happen to you to get you out of certain situations. And or like, so like, let's say you don't like being in public spaces, so you subconsciously like tell yourself like, oh, I'm so depressed, I need to stay home, or I get anxiety if I go out in public spaces, and I get this and I get that, and you're just creating that around you, and then that's what you're going to get, right? It's kind of like my sunburn. I got my sunburn, and now, when you're sick or you get a sunburn or you get something, you're always focused on it, and you're like, oh, that really hurts. Oh, then it's always hurting and it's getting worse and everything, and you're like, oh, but then you forget about it after a while because now you're used to it, I guess, and then it's gone. You're like, oh yeah, it's just gone, right? What happened? Well, it's the same thing, right? If I'm focusing a lot on my sunburn, if I'm like, oh, my sunburn, and it really hurts, and I'm always like, oh, so dramatic about it or whatever, right? Just really, right? Then my body's going to be like, oh, yeah, he needs it to be worse. Let's give it to him worse. Like, it sounds crazy, but it's truth. This is truth. And then, yeah, it'll last longer. It'll be more in pain. But if you can really, like, overcome that and be like, yeah, I tan. Like, this is going to turn into a tan tomorrow. It's not going to be a sunburn anymore. And then I'll keep you posted when I record the next episode, that how long it took. But, like, I'm trying my best to, like, just focus on, like, yeah, just let it do its process. I got burned, but let's turn the negative into a positive, and let's just let it be a nice tan, and I'll be golden, really pasty. My stomach and chest is pasty, but my arms and legs will be golden with my face. But anyways, but yeah, like, it's true. Like, that's a good book. The Courage to Be Disliked, because it's not mainstream, right? For me to go to somebody and somebody's like, and I don't know if I ever. There's people out there that I know, and I love them to death, but I see how they create their reality, and I'm trying to just, they're like, oh, but if you're not ready to hear it, then you're not ready to hear it, right? Kind of like, sometimes, like, you're stuck in your own ways, or your own, you have your own truth, and then another truth comes in that contradicts your truth. You're like, oh, no, that must not be real, right? But if you actually let it in, resonate, and see and process it, and to see if it's truth for you or if it's real for you or not, you might be surprised. Just like when I first heard about law of attraction, I was like, witchcraft. These people are nuts. So you're telling me I could just be like, oh, I need a mansion, I need this, and I got this, and everything comes your way. Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, it really does work. When I started actually trying it and testing it, I was like, oh, this works. This is amazing. This is truth. But it works for me because now I'm ready for it. I wasn't ready for it, 20 years ago when I heard about this the first time. I was like, yeah, this is crazy. But I got into quantum physics and stuff like that. I was like, this is amazing. And learning about the quantum physics, and also, like, it kind of sounds funny, but the movies, the Avengers, and, DC's, movies as well, or TV shows with like The Flash and stuff like that, kind of like, oh, and I started opening my mind, and now I'm like, yeah, like, now I'm just creating whatever I want, stepping into the reality, or if it works for you, like, I step into the reality of, like, I see it as quantum physics, like, so I'm like, oh, this reality, kind of like those books. Here's a good example. Remember those books? I don't know if they make them anymore, but when I was a kid, I'd read these books, and it's like, hey, if you do this, go to this page. If you want to do this, go to that page, right? And then sometimes we'll look at the both pages and see which one we're supposed to go and be like, I'm going to go there, right? I kind of treat it like that, where it's like, okay, this is what I want. I want to go to Florida, let's say, on my vacation. So I'm going to find a reality that has it subconsciously. And, when I meditate, close my eyes, think about it, and then I step into that reality. And then, oh, well, then I want this to happen, and step into this reality. And then instead of it being like, oh, I'm creating this stuff, I'm just going to the reality that has it, and I'm achieving what I want because I'm just getting it. It's there's a lot of different ways to do it. You really have to find what works for you. But I do encourage, like, if anybody wants to reach out and talk with me, feel free to send us an email, right, at lifechangersmike@gmail.com. That's lifechangersmike@gmail.com. All one word, of course. And then just reach out and I'll email you back. We could have a good conversation. I'm also on Facebook. We started a Facebook group. It's like pretty much Life Changers Mike, and you'll find me. I think the group is like Life Changers or Life Changers Mike that we just started trying to like create. So if people wanted to find that and join it, you can also communicate with me there if you prefer. And I just want to help people and just show the world. Like I truly love everybody. Like it's it's funny because I used to hate people. I'm like, oh, I hate people, but no, I just love everybody. Want everybody to be happy. Like even like, yeah, it's crazy. Like driving from, Canada all the way 2.5 days to Florida, to Daytona Beach. And then next week I'll be in Claremont, which is right by Disney World. But like, yeah, seeing how rush everybody is and like all these accidents on the roads and everybody's rush. Everybody's like, rah, 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 rah. And they say like the reason why there's so many accidents in Florida and everybody's rush, 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 it's because of the, all the tourists. A lot of people fly in, rent cars, and they're like doing their thing, right? And it's all the tourists that are like just going crazy and causing accidents because they're always in a rush to get to the next thing. Like, come on, relax. You're able to go 70 miles an hour on your highways. Like a lot of the I-75s, a lot of it's like 70 miles. Sometimes they're 75, I think, in Detroit. So you got to get through it pretty quick. I'm just joking. Detroit's nice. Just certain parts, I guess. But it's amazing, right? Because like in Canada, the speed limit's like 100 kilometers an hour, which is 60 miles. But there's some places now where you can go 110, which is 65 miles, I believe. 65 miles an hour, which is pretty cool. But most of our highways are all 100 kilometers an hour. And with traffic and rush hour, you're not going that fast anyways. But everybody's just zoom, 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 rush, rush, rush to the next thing, to the next thing. I don't want to be late. Well, I'm sorry. You're going to be late if you get into an accident. You're going to be late if you kill yourself or if you kill somebody driving to that place. So just relax. You're in Florida, for crying out loud. You're on vacation. Enjoy it. Don't get stressed. You know how many times people come to me and go, oh yeah, every time I go on vacation, it's always stressful, or this thing happens to me and this happens. It's like, oh, it was always a bad experience. Well, yeah. And I tell them straight up, courage to be disliked, right? Like, hey, you know what? You're creating that. You just by you saying every time I go on vacation, all this negative stuff happens, it's going to happen because you want it to happen subconsciously. Oh, no, you don't. You're stupid. It's funny because a lot of the conversations I have sometimes where people are like, no, you're just crazy. No this, no that. No, right? It's it just happens. It just has nothing to do with me, right? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, it has everything to do with you. You literally create your whole entire reality, the whole world around you. Like everything you see, everything you perceive, you create. If you don't believe me, think about it this way. Every time something amazing happens, right? You're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Or every time something negative happens. But think about, if you're focused on all this negative stuff and it always happens to you, well, it's because you're focused on it all the time. Things happen to you because that's all you're focused on. It's funny because like I joke around. I'm like, hey, like if you hate things so much, you're gonna become that thing. And I see it. I see it out there. Like it's not that I hate my mom. I love my mom to death. She's an amazing person. But growing up, I had a dislike for my mom and her habits, like, and stuff like that, like always sitting around watching TV or movies. But that's her reality. That's what she enjoyed. And Mom, if you ever listen to this, I love you so much. But like, but sometimes I feel like, my mom, like we mentioned one of my other episodes, is very negative. And I understand, right? That's her reality. That's what she created. That's where she came from. She had a rough upbringing, right? So I understand why she's always on edge and always this. But it's your whole life is going to revolve around that. If you expect, people are always mean to me because of this, people are always that to me, and people hate me, then that's what you're creating. It might not be true. Do you know that when you were younger, I used to do it. I'd be like, oh, see those people over there, teenagers, talking, or these adults talking. They're talking about me and they hate me and they think I'm stupid. You know what? They don't even give a crap about you. They're probably talking about how amazing their day is and how fun life is and how great and what they're going to go do, or they're going to go, to the store and do whatever, right? They're not even caring about you. But in your reality, you're like, oh, those people are going to attack me. They're going to beat me up or they're going to rob me. And sometimes I see myself doing that because when I travel, you always hear stories like when you hear about Detroit, right? Everybody's like, oh, Detroit, yeah, And a lot of jokes, right, about Detroit. But I've been to 8 Mile, 9 Mile, 10 Mile, and I went shopping there in stores with people and friends that were like, yeah, let's go there. I'm like, well, I'm going to get murdered, or someone's going to rob me. If I stop at the red light, I'm not going to have any tires anymore. They're just going to take it right off my truck, right? And then people are laughing at me like, man, where do you get all this from? I'm like, the movies, the news. People tell me it happened to them. And yeah, then you build this thing. And so then I drive into those things with my buddies, and they're like, yeah, it's cool, man. We come here all the time. And people are really nice. Yeah, in every city, you might get that douchebag that wants to rob you, or that douchebag that's going to try to steal your tires or steal your catalytic converter or something, right? But it's not everybody. Most people are awesome people. So why do we have those labels? Oh, people that live in Detroit are all criminals and crazy people and they're murderers and right? But they're amazing. I had a great time. And the stores there were so much cheaper to shop at than shopping at other stores, right? It was amazing. But it's just, why, even some people are like, oh, you're going to Florida? They just had a hurricane. Maybe they're going to have another one, Yeah, I see. The hotel I'm at actually got hit by the hurricane. The outdoor pool's closed. Some of the retaining walls all gone. There's a section that used to have mini putt that I remember from 2018, 2019 is all gone, it washed away. So they got to fix it. So yeah, we don't have access to the tiki bar outside, the restaurants outside, or the pools outside. But the hotel itself, still standing. Indoor pool, indoor jacuzzi. What more can you ask for? There's an indoor gym, which I can't use right now. Fun fact, working out with a sunburn is not good. Not good at all, because I work out with the sunburn, and it can it heats. You can overheat faster, and your sweat just burns. So don't work out. That's not good. I digress. But yeah, just it sounds scary, right? Growing up, everybody's like, oh, Americans, gun-toting, shooting, Western, all the Western movies. Everybody's just shooting everybody in the U.S. But no. I never felt threatened. I've been through Detroit. I had situations where they're like, yeah, you might not want to be here alone right now. I'm like, okay, I'll get in my car and go, right? But other than that, most of my experience is just puppies and rainbows. People are amazing. People are caring. People are loving. Why do we have those perceptions, right? Of oh no, I can't go to that city or I can't go to that state because everybody's shooting everybody. Yeah, there's certain people that are crazy and certain people are having difficult situations, and in their reality, this is what they're going to do. There's bad people, but I'm telling you, I would say 95% of people are nice. So, here's the thing of living in the moment, living your best life. I was driving a couple weeks ago. I was driving with my wife. She was taking me to drop me off the bus station in this downtown of the city we live in. So I can take the 2-hour bus ride to pick up our trucks. And then I can take our truck and go pick up all our equipment and loads throughout all the different cities and then take off up north and deliver them. And I'm driving through light. And it's 7 in the morning, driving, still a little bit dark out. And then I felt the truck move a little bit, got poof. I'm like, what happened? My wife's like, did you hit the curb? I'm like, thinking, did I hit a curb? But wait, I'm in the middle of the road. Was there something in the road that I hit? I'm confused. And I look in my rearview mirror, and this all happened in a split second. And then I see this other pickup truck just in pieces, it's smashed in pretty good. I'm like, oh crap, somebody hit me. And the first thing that goes through your mind is like, did I cause it? I'm like, and I'm remembering, no, the light was green. I was going through a green light. I was following traffic. And I have a dash cam. So I watch the footage. I'm like, okay, I'm not at fault. But then, but before I did all that, I pulled over. We were fine. Because I know I mentioned it. It's my first big truck. I love it a lot. It's a Ford F-250 full-size crew cab, XLT, has V8 engine in it, diesel. Like, I bought it so I can pull my trailer around, live my best life, and do half the year in the U.S. with my trailer and the other half in Canada with the trailer. But, hey, it only happened for 1 year. Now we don't even do that. So, just going with the flow. But anyways, and so we're all, like, stressed out. And I see how that guy's front of his truck was smashed in and pieces were all over the road. So I was concerned for him. And so I jump out of the truck. And, I mentioned, I'm a big guy, but I'm, not tall. I'm 5'9", but I got like, I don't know, decent sized muscle. I mean, when I unload the trucks and there's something like 200-300 pounds, I just pick it up and go with it. 100 pounds, no problem to throw on my shoulder. It's easier than taking it and going on the dolly and with the lift gates on the trucks and go. I just pick it up, walk to their house, put it on their stairs. It's a lot faster and easier for me. And it's a free workout. But anyways, so I jump out of the truck. I'm wearing my reflective vest and stuff. So I jump out. I start rushing towards the guy's vehicle. And he gets out and he's looking at me. And so here's what I'm thinking. I'll tell you my point of view and I'll tell you his point of view. My point of view is like, oh, he hit me. Like, I'm going to make sure he's all right because his car looks smashed. And for you that, don't know, people that are listening, but I have been a first responder for different jobs I had growing up. So I was like a firefighter, first responder, and I was also a medic, first responder. I don't upkeep any of those tickets or cards, training. But, so I was like, at least I knew I could help. I'll tell him like, hey, if you need help, if he's hurt or if he's unconscious, I know what to do. I could help him. So I'm like rushing over there thinking like, I'm going to help this guy if he needs help. And he's getting out of the truck and he looks at me. And I'm also thinking, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, this guy hit me. He's going to blame me that it's my fault. That's my biggest fear is people are like, you hear about it all the time, right? Oh, I got hit and the guy was blaming me and screw him. It was his fault because everybody in their reality is like, oh, I'm always innocent, right? When I hit something, I've never been in an accident before, okay? Let's just, I never hit anybody before. I've been rear-ended a couple of times, but no damage. But this is the first time actually being hit and having damage and have to make a real claim. Well, I guess no, I've been hit once in the front end of my car and it did a little bit of damage, not much, but nothing dramatic. Like, I don't know. But anyways, I'm a good driver. But you always hear stories of people like, but if, or when I'm driving and if I get pulled over for a speeding ticket, cops like, why I pulled you over? I'm like, yeah, man, you got me. I was speeding. I did the crime. I'm going to do the time. Yeah, you clocked me. Give me the ticket. I'm sorry, officer. And they're always taken back like, whoa, what? Because most people are like, screw you, cop. I wasn't speeding. And they have, come on, you were. Like, get over it. When I'm driving, it's the risk I take if I'm going 5 miles or 10 miles over the speed limit. And at some points, I am going 10 miles over the speed limit because people are riding me hard, and I don't like that. And I'm just driving faster. And I'm like, if I ever get pulled over, like, yeah, I got to take the ticket. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, no, I did it. The cop's just doing his job, trying to keep us safe. So, yeah, I'll take the ticket. As long as he's an honest cop. Most cops are, right? Once again, right? Not all cops are criminals and douchebags. No, you might have one or two bad apples. Most of them are amazing people just doing their job, and they have a hard job as is, and then they have to deal with a lot of people screaming and yelling at them like they're the bad guy. Like, come on, relax, people. If you're doing the speeding or if you ran a red light or whatever, it's your problem. Anyways, I digress. I just hate people blaming the world for all their issues when it's their fault. It's you are the problem. You are the issue. There's something with you. You are creating that reality. It's not that you're the problem. It's that you're creating that reality. Like, you got to deal with it and see the truth. Like, it's all about you. It really is. Look at you. Look at you. It's hard to say. Some people might not like me, but it's your fault. If you've been like dating like 50 different people in your life and you're like, yeah, they're all crazy and douchebags. Well, you should look at yourself because you might be the crazy one or the because that's the common factor, But anyways, so I jump out of the car and I'm thinking this guy might think it's my fault, but I'm going to go help him and see what his story is. And he's going to blame me, but I got a camera, so tough luck, buddy, if you're going to try to lie and be a douche. So I run over and over there. And I'm like, "Are you okay, sir?" And he's like taken back, like, "Yeah, I'm okay, man." Like, he was like, "I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I hit a bump, and I was confused. I looked back and looked up, and boom, I hit you." Like, because he ran a red light, and he pretty much hit me in the rear end of my truck. It was just physical damage. I could still drive. I drove that truck all the way to Florida, still not fixed. I'm still dealing with insurance, so that's another issue. But and he was like more concerned and upset with himself that he ruined my day. And I was taken back because that's what I would do if I hit somebody. I'd be like, "I'm sorry, dude." And the other guy's being a douchebag, screaming at me, yelling at me, like, "That's what I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's my fault." But like, crap happens. So just deal with it. Like, we have insurance for a reason. I'm sorry, lap of judgment, whatever, right? That's what I would do. And he was so apologetic and so I was like, okay, like this guy, he's like really upset that he ruined my day. And I'm like, dude, it's all right. It's cool, man. Like, stuff happens. And he's an older gentleman. And I'm like, we'll just call the cops, see what they want us to do and all that, right? So then his point of view, so I'm thinking he might be the bad guy, be the crazy guy, right? And whatever. And I'm all defensive before I even meet the guy. And I created this whole scenario about the guy already before I even meet him. And like, that's what we do, right? That we just, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, whatever, right? Anyway, so from his point of view is he's driving, hits a bump, looks back, looks front, ran a red light, hits me. He had a Mazda 300C or C300 or 30 or something like that. It's a pickup truck. It's an 05, just like my truck. But mine has a 4-inch lift kit, on it. And I got some brand new beefy tires on it because we just had winter in Canada. And it's good for driving in the snow and ice. And he clipped the end of my box. Didn't even hit the tire, nothing. All just cosmetics, and I took it to get it appraised, $8,000 cosmetic damage. Insurance should cover that. Call it a day. And yeah, his Mazda didn't fare so well. Poor guy. The whole front end was pushed in. His airbag didn't go off, so he's lucky. But yeah, so he hit me. And then he's worried when he sees me jumping out, running at him. And he's like, "You're a pretty big guy, and stuff." And he thought I was going to like freak out at him and grab him and like, hurt him or something. Then he was thrown back when I was like, "Are you okay, man? Is there anything I can do to help?" And he's like, oh no, I'm okay, And he was apologizing to me. So you got to understand, right? In that scenario, we both automatically, because we were always like taught or thought like, all these bad people in the world, whatever, right? That, oh no, he's going to react this way. He's going to beat me up or he's going to shoot me if he has a gun or whatever, right? Because yeah, you see on TV all the time or news, road rage gone wrong. Or, I can't even watch TV anymore. Like, I watch TV here at the hotel, and then when it comes to the commercials, just mute it, turn it off, because it's always like, crazy stuff happening and on the news today, right? And that's what's creating our reality for us, the things we listen to subconsciously, if you like it or not. So if all you hear about is like all these damages, all these accidents, all this crazy stuff happening, then you're going to believe that's happening 24/7 and all the time subconsciously. And that's all there is to it. But it's not. Okay? There's amazing people out there. So yeah, I was just like nonchalant, like, yeah, and yeah, I delayed a day because now I have to deal with insurance. I missed the bus and stuff like that. There's only like 2 buses a day. And if I take the later bus, I wouldn't get there on time to get my truck. So I was just like, yeah, I'll just wait till tomorrow morning. And all I'm thinking about is like, well, things happen for a reason, whatever, right? And at one point, me and the guy were like, he was like, well, what if I stayed home? Or what if, I was like, yeah, because that morning, like 3 minutes before I got hit, I was sitting there letting the truck warm up a little bit more. I was like, you need to go. Like, stop warming up the truck. You're going to miss the bus. I was like, oh, okay. And we left right away. And I was like, well, what if I didn't leave at that second, right? We would have missed. And my wife's like, there's all these what ifs. You're saying what if this, what if that. But no, everything happens for a reason. It needed to happen. You might not know why it needed to happen, right? The scenarios you can go through your head, right? It's like, well, I got a big beefy truck. He hit me. No, just a little bit of damage, whatever, right? But if it was the other car that was behind me, if he hit that car, it was a smaller car and he was hot as a truck and he would have hit it dead on in the front. Could have been a lot worse, right? He could have hurt somebody really bad. So if that was the only scenario of that, that he hit me, and and that's it, just physical damage. No one's actually hurt. Stuff we can fix. Because that was the first concern. Even he was like, and people were like, "Do you need the ambulance?" And when we call 911, they're like, "Do you need the ambulance?" And everybody, I'm like, "Everybody's cool. Everybody's fine." The guy's a little shook up. He's really apologetic. And then the cop's like, "Oh yeah." Here's a fun story. When the cop showed up, he was asking what's going on. And at first, I thought, because there's a lane to turn left, and the guy turned left and hit me. But, that's a lot of damage for just turning left. But no, he ran the red light. And he told the cop, "No, I ran the red light and all that." And the cop's like, "Oh, you don't want me to do the investigation because it'll take too long." And the guy's like, "No, I kind of want you to do the investigation so we can just move on with our lives." And the cop's like, "Well, it'll take twice as long, and then I'll have to charge you because you ran a red light." And he's like, "Oh, well, what else can we do?" And the cop's like, "Just go downtown to the collision center since everybody's all right. You call a tow truck, get it towed there, and then the cop pointed at me. You could drive there." And I was just talking to the cop saying, "Thank you very much for keeping us safe and all that." And he was telling me his story, how he's a retired cop from Toronto and he wanted to come out to the smaller cities, and just do good and help people. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I should try to find him and do an interview with him because it will be a fun interview. But yeah, just like enjoy the moments, live life. Don't have regrets. Don't be like, well, I should have done that sooner, right? Like you heard me say in some of my earlier podcasts, like I should have started this when I felt the first pulling of the universe to do this, because it would have been 4 years sooner, 5 years sooner, and I would have been a lot farther along in my progression. But I am the only one to blame. So just know that there's a lot of amazing people in the world. Let's stop having a guard up and stop being like, oh, all these crazy people in the world are going to whatever, right? Some people might look different. You don't know their story. Some people might, have hardships. Like, as my wife says, the way I dress, you probably think I'm homeless. I like wearing my sweatpants. When you're driving a truck for most of your life, you just wear comfy clothes. But anyways, just don't judge a book by its cover. Trust your heart. Trust your soul. Trust your higher self. Trust your gut. And if ever you feel it saying, do this, just do it. There'll be no regrets. Everything happens for a reason, and everything happens because it needs to happen that way. You might not know why, until later on in life. But there's been so many times where I'm like, I couldn't predict this, and now I'm ahead. And I just shut up and listen. And just trust. Trust your heart. Trust your higher self. Trust God. Trust the universe. Trust whatever you want to call it. Live your best life now. Don't let time pass you by. Because before you know it, you're going to never do anything you've ever said you wanted to do. And you always say, well, one day. I hate when people say that to me now. I know I shouldn't hate it so much, but it really bugs me when people are like, one day I'll do this. One day I'll do that. No. Now is now. There's always tomorrow. There's always a one day. Love life now. Enjoy life now. When you see people smile, say hi as you're walking by, you'd be surprised on their reaction. But sometimes I'm like, hey, how's it going? And people are like, oh, hey, and they're awesome people. Like, just take the time to get to know people. And if you feel as you're walking by somebody who looks like they need help, you feel like, oh, I should help them. And then your second reaction is like, oh, they're probably like faking it, or they're probably criminals. They're just going to get drugs or alcohol or whatever. No, just listen to your initial reaction. A still small voice, your little gut there going, hey, do this. This person needs help. This person needs somebody to appreciate them. Because everybody wants to feel loved. Everybody wants to be appreciated. Everybody wants to be like, yeah, I matter. Because everybody matters. You matter. Everybody matters in this world. Some people might not think they matter and think they're useless, but they're not. Just know how much you are loved, how important you are, how you can make a difference in this world without even realizing it. Just be you. Be happy. Stop trying to find the next best thing. Stop trying to chase money. Stop trying to chase fame or whatever, right? Just live it. And know that you can be taken care of if you choose to and decide, and find the frequency or the energy of money or the energy of love, compassion. Stop chasing. Let it come to you. Step into the realities that you want to create and know how amazing you are and how great your life will be. And if you think you can't do it alone, reach out to me. Okay? We're at lifechangersmike@gmail.com or on Facebook, Life Changers Mike. and reach out to me. I'm more than happy to have a conversation. We can even make an interview out of it if you'd like, and we could change your name if you want. And just, let's help people change their lives around and to be amazing people. I know how much you're loved and important you are. I appreciate every one of you, everybody that's listening and everybody that will listen. Just know how important you are and how loved you are. I do appreciate and love everybody. Thank you very much for listening. This is Mike with Life Changers. You have an amazing day.